Chapter 20 Elections. Election fervor was at its peak now. Vivek Camp was very positive. Yet, it could be anyone's game. Nothing could be left to chance. The risk of the hare and the tortoise coming true was a possibility that had to be prevented. Members of both camps in twos or more could be seen any and everywhere in and around the campus, strategizing, planning, and organizing. 2 days prior to the actual voting, both of our aspirants of JDA presidentship made a final public appearance talking one-to-one with the prospective voters. They individually made an opening speech in the beginning. That was the last opportunity to meet and interact with the people, know their expectations and suggestions, as much as share their own philosophy and agenda. Slogans resounded intermittently from both sides. There was an undercurrent tightness among both the groups, but mature as they were, outwardly no disharmony resulted. It was a get-together with no stress or pressure among the attendees. This closing party would finally remove any ounce of awkwardness remaining in the minds of the students. The D-Day arrived. Whole voting process was arranged in the topmost floor of the new hospital building. That was one place which would accommodate very many people under one roof without causing any disturbance to the functioning of the hospital. It could also be kept private this way. The boxes containing the filled ballots would have to be shifted anywhere else either. It could also be kept private this way. The boxes containing the filled ballots wouldn't have to be shifted anywhere else either. The voting began. Procedure was explained one more time to the voters. The obvious supporters or the core team of both sides were seen looking into every detail, aiding the voters in every step so as to smoothen the casting of their votes. I hadn't had the opportunity to talk to Kyra these past few weeks, except for casual hi-hellos, both being busy in our assigned tasks. The most annoying thing was that she was never to be found alone, even for a casual chat, always surrounded by people, seniors, juniors, batchmates alike, that I prefer to call her admirers. At times I felt frustrated and dejected, a sense of foreboding gripping me. What if it so happens that I get late? What if she loves someone already and that someone isn't me? A person like Kyra with her huge fan following, I could well be just another one in the list, insignificant and inconsequential. She might never count me apart from the rest. I shuddered at the idea. I was maddened at my utter helplessness. It was a peculiar scenario. She interacted with nearly everyone, yet effortlessly managed to stonewall any overtures. She had that kind of an aura about her. It was no less than a miracle that she was still unattached. She would be otherwise only when she herself wanted to. This was an unsaid directive for the people around her. As for me, I hated myself for falling for her. I even tried to detach myself to make life easier for me, but failed miserably. The more I tried, the tougher it became. The worst part was, let alone love, friendship itself appeared far-fetched at the moment. Future was bleak. Now the elections would also be over. I wouldn't be left with any pretext to come closer than to go ahead on and express my feelings. That would be disastrous, I knew well enough. All I could do was to leave everything to destiny to take its call. Today, we all stood near the ballot booths as a part of Vivek Camp. There she was, conversing with her friends as always and giving instructions in turns, helping the voters clarifying their doubts. The voting had commenced smoothly. We were constantly on phone, calling up residents, reminding them, asking them to call up and bring their friends in turn. It was overwhelming to see the crowd swarming in for casting their votes. We were skeptical, the day being a Sunday, but our doubts were soon put to rest by the vehemence with which the students turned up. There were refreshments, and group of residents, big and small, were seen partaking them in cheer while discussing, anticipating, and predicting the results, each confident of his or her own side. Hours passed in seconds. I casually offered Kyra a seat, seeing her on toes since morning. She took it, thanked, and asked me to take the adjacent one. I had hardly done that when I saw Chitra bouncing towards us, full of loads to blurt out. I gave her my seat that she dropped into without so much as a second thought. I said, turning towards Kyra, I'm going to get myself coffee. Can I get you something? She smiled at the welcome prospect. Yes, sir, coffee would be wonderful, thanks, she said. I got them both and myself refreshing hot coffee that recharged our senses and fueled our efforts till the last vote was cast. There wasn't any time for lunch, but we stole an occasional bite at the cookies and sandwiches that were in abundance, as were the hot and soft drinks. Moreover, we were least interested in food, with a high voltage atmosphere infused with excitement, angst, and anticipation. It seemed never ending, but eventually it did. And thence began the painful, apparently interminable wait till the counting continued. Counting itself caused many a skipped beat during its course. The numbers dangerously threatened to point either way. Unpredictability was at its strongest, and we all felt utterly hopeless. Finally, it got done. The beans were spilled. Dr. Vivek Acharya had won. The margin was enormous too. I was exhilarated. Rejoicing went on till late evening. The first thing that Vivek sir did as the results came out was to go shake hands with Dr. Ritesh, his sparring opponent. As if Yadav sir was waiting for just that, he hugged Vivek sir warmly and said, Our personal and professional association can hardly be deterred by inconsequential things like the results of any form of elections. All the best for your term, Vivek. We were filled with respect for the greatness of this man. This was one rare election when both the groups had concentrated on highlighting their assets than backlashing and demeaning the other one. The result hence didn't leave a bitter taste in anyone's mouth. It all seemed too good to be true. But right then, we were in no mood of philosophical discussions. It was time to celebrate. To celebrate the months of tireless efforts of the leader and his team. And the team meant us, me and Kyra included. The cabinet meeting was scheduled for the next day. The office bearers were appointed. JDA President Dr. Vivek Acharya, Secretary Dr. Rekha, Vice President Dr. Piyush Singh, and Treasurer Dr. Fayaz. I was appointed the Joint Secretary. I sat in my room late that afternoon. It was easier while I was working or studying in the department library or preparing for seminars or journal reviews. But times such as these were the most trying. Victory celebration party was tonight. In a couple of hours, I was supposed to be present there, all fancied up. But I was not comfortable. What of it then? What of me? I pondered over my situation. I remained exactly where I had been. I hadn't been able to pinch in so much as a word with Kyra this whole while, apart from a few short formal exchanges, that too in the presence of people because she was seldom ever alone. If not the rest at times, then Chitra was seen glued to her. I had even contemplated taking Chitra into confidence, but my self-respect didn't allow that. Was it too inconceivable a goal that I was striving for? My head and heart raged a fierce battle with each other as I burnt in it. This was so unlike me. I, Manav Pandit, had always held the reins of my life perfectly, guided by a sane and sensible grey matter. This was one time when I was unsettled. The only thing I actually wanted to do was to pour out my feelings to her, throwing all caution to wind. But my head constantly hammered into me that it was not possible and I might end up hurting myself. Whatever the repercussions, I had to tell her, and now I decided finally. It had to be in the party. How and with what words, I knew not, but it had to be tonight.